All right. Okay. So, thank you guys for being here. Um, it's such an honor to have to have you guys here, and that you guys chose to be here to learn more about Ayurveda. For me, Ayurveda is very empowering. It's an ancient wisdom that I feel blessed and honored to be given the opportunity to share it with other people. And I'm thrilled that it's making its way back into our lives because it's been around for so long and it's been shut down for so many reasons by the English, and now it's coming back in full force. So I'm really excited about that. And like I said, if you've got any questions, just let me know throughout the presentation. So this is the things that we're going to go over. A quick introduction, a little bit about me, what Ayurveda is and its history, the ways you're probably already practicing Ayurveda and don't even know it, misconceptions about Ayurveda. I've compiled like a bunch of common questions that I get from Ayurveda, so I'm answering those there. We're going to learn about the Agony, the Ayurvedic view of health, like why it's important to practice Ayurveda and what it can do for your body. Um, the cornerstones of Ayurveda, what holds it together, the doshas, and how to balance the doshas within your body. And then I'm going to give you some quick practices that you can try on to start um, applying to your life now. So this is me. My name is Caitlin Sonier. Um, and a real quick history of my health journey. I was put on mood altering medications at a really, really young age, diagnosed with ADHD, ADD. Um, then it manifested into anxiety, depression, all the things. And back in 2009, I decided I wanted to move to Kentucky. And when I moved to Kentucky, I was like, I want to be a different person. So I got off all of the medications. Well, when I got off of the medications, my body did not know what to do. And it kind of revolted on me. And I was diagnosed with a slew of autoimmune diseases. The two biggest ones that impacted me the most were multiple sclerosis and fibromyalgia. And I was only 21 years old. And when I got those diagnoses, I was devastated. I'm like, how can I be so young and have these autoimmune diseases? So I went on a path of healing myself, and I met with a naturopath doctor named Dr. Roach. I mean, he's an amazing doctor in Kentucky, and he helped me heal my gut, and he put me on an elimination diet, which is eliminating all of the inflammatory foods, slowly put them back in. When he put gluten back into my diet, I was hospitalized. Like gluten is just like a whoa for me. So celiac disease, which is also another autoimmune disease, is the big kicker. Then my body felt okay with the diet changes, but I still felt like something was missing. I still felt lost. I still felt confused. I was still frustrated with life, really not knowing what I wanted to do or where I wanted to go. Granted, I was still young, but later I was involved in a bad car accident where I wrapped my car around a tree and injured my right hip. That brought me to yoga. Yoga brought me to my yoga teacher training. My yoga teacher training, one of my teachers, Devi, was an Ayurveda practitioner. And when she started talking about Ayurveda and the practice of it, my whole body lit up. Like, I mean, the chills, the truth chills. Like, I had the truth chills. Like, I was vibrating, I was drooling from the mouth. I was like, I need to know more. So I started working with her one on one. And working with her, I slowly started to come alive. Like it gave me purpose. It almost gave me like reason to live. Like I loved waking up and doing these practices. And now I fully understand what it did for me, and it brought me home. It brought me back into my body. It brought me back into a deep awareness of understanding what my body was communicating to me and what it was screaming at me. And the more I practice this this ancient wisdom, and the more I study and the more I look through the lens of Ayurveda at the world and the amount of autoimmune diseases that are on the rise, I've come to terms with autoimmune diseases is a disease of the soul. It's a disconnect from the body and the soul. And through Ayurveda, oh, I'm getting chills talking about it right now. And through Ayurveda and through yoga, it's a way to bring the two back. So that's the best way for me to explain it. Is it's like it's mind, body, and soul. And so I'm on a mission to bring people back home to their bodies, bring people back home to um, understanding their body so their soul can be on the path that it needs to be on. And there's so many other ways where you can awaken your soul and put your soul in alignment. Ayurveda is one of them. Um, Ayurveda is the sister science to yoga and Vedic astrology. So the ancient science, the Vedas say when those three are used together, you are way on the path of enlightenment. Um, so it's been my tool and it's been a way that I use to help clients better understand themselves and understand the way the energies in their body shows up in their physical form. So Ayurveda is based in the Indus Valley region of India. So it's all in all of the languages based in Sanskrit. So Ayurveda is a Sanskrit word that means the study of you and the study of how you respond to the information that you give it, how your body will react and respond to the food that you feed it, how your body will react and respond to the environments that you put it in, how your body will react and respond to the relationships that you have around you. So the word Ayurveda is broken up into two parts. Ayur meaning life or you, and Veda meaning the wisdom or the study of. So it's the study of you. It's the study of the life within you. Um, it's a super old practice. Some people say 5,000, some people say 10,000. Um, I err more on the 10,000 side because the Vedas date back 10,000 plus years. And just like all of these ancient wisdoms that we have, it's divinely inspired, right? So, just like the disciples, um, where the Bible was divinely inspired by them. So Ayurveda was divinely inspired by the rishis, and the rishis were these seers, and they were given this ancient information that's to heal, uplift, and empower the people. And I think it's so amazing and so beautiful that this information is coming into our awareness now because, wow, don't we need to heal and uplift and be empowered to take on everything that's being thrown at us from all directions right now, which whatever way you want to look at it, whatever lens that you're looking at it through, um, we really need all the support that we can get. Um, Ayurveda is also known as the kitchen medicine, because it was a practice and a science given so you can use whatever is around you. So you use the food on your plate to heal your body. And whenever you understand how the food on your plate is interacting with your body and how it's shifting and changing the elements in your body, you are more empowered to be in control of your health. Ayurveda has influenced all of the other forms of healing. So if you practice Chinese medicine or you've practiced Chinese medicine, um, massage, um, any type of aromatherapy, any of those forms, herbology, it's all under the roof of Ayurveda. You just use different herbs. Ayurveda is holistic and it's intuitive. So it looks at you as a whole, not a part. It's how your body works synergistically with different systems in it, different communities. And it's an intuitive practice. It teaches you how to come back to your body, how to communicate and have a relationship with your body, how to have a relationship with your food, and how to have a relationship with the creator of your food. So it's all about relationship with your intuition. Ayurveda will explain the causes of disease by getting to the root of the symptoms and the imbalances. And it's unique to all body types. And then it also gives you ways that you can achieve spiritual, mental, and emotional well being. It teaches you how to um, be a soul in a human body. It teaches you how to understand the symptoms. It basically gives your symptoms a language. So if you have dry skin, Ayurveda can tell you why you have dry skin and things you can do to balance it. Just a quick example. So you are probably already practicing Ayurveda and you don't even know it. So if you have a devotional practice to whoever you want to call God, source, universe, if you have a daily devotional, that's part of Ayurveda. If you practice yoga, meditation, if you drink tea, if you use essential oils, if you put lotion on your body, if you change your diet seasonally, if you dry brush, tongue scrape, if you partake in drinking warm lemon water, you are practicing Ayurveda. It's basically just a practice of simplicity, a practice to going back to the basics. So here are some misconceptions about Ayurveda. These are some things that people have asked me that I really like to address. Ayurveda is not a religion. Yoga is not a religion. Yes, religions use Ayurveda and yoga as part of their practice, but it is not a religion within itself. Um, it's not a diet. Ayurveda is a relationship with your body and a relationship with your life. I have a lot of clients that come to me and they're like, I want a diet plan. I want you to tell me what to eat for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And I'm like, I can't because, well, just like the stars, the stars change and shift and align. So therefore, your diet should shift and change based on how you're feeling in this moment, right? Um, Ayurveda is not a strict practice, it's a fluid one, and it only provides like a framework and suggestions for you to apply to your life. It's not something that's a rule book and you have to follow. Um, Ayurveda offers different times for you to wake up, but it's a fluid window. Like between 4:45 and 6 o'clock in the morning, we should be waking up, right? But it's not like 5:30 every morning. I have to get out of bed. Um, Ayurveda, it's not a vegetarian diet. However, it's suggested. Meat is used as medicine in Ayurveda. Um, and the reason why that is because a carnivore's digestive tract is much shorter than our digestive tract. So it takes like 3 to 7 days, depending on your digestive rate. It could take 3 to 7 days for you to fully digest meat. So whenever it sits in our digestive tract for a really long time, it could cause toxic buildup and it's rotting in your digestive tract basically. So it could cause gas and all kinds of other things to form. Um, so it uses meat as medicine. However, usually people that have a lot of Vata energy in their system need meat to ground down. So I eat meat whenever meat calls to me and whenever I feel like my body needs it. But I also have a very good relationship with my body. So I choose the meat. I don't let the society and the meat choose me. Like I choose it. Ayurveda teaches you how to make your food healthier for your body. So, how to combine it, how to portion it, and how to season it with spices to make it healthy for your specific body. And it's a lifelong practice that teaches you how to be in rhythm with changes around you. So, as your environment changes, your diet should change. As your stress level changes, your diet should change. As as things around you change, your diet should change. So it's the rhythm of simplicity, staying in rhythm and coming back to the simple things. Um, so I forget what this one says. What does it say? The Ayurvedic view of health. So the whole reason why we practice Ayurveda is to have a body that is free of pain or illness and is filled with ujas. So ujas is another Sanskrit word that means vigor and life force. So we practice an Ayurveda diet so we can feel vital and feel alive and have a body that is free of pain and illness. Or whenever pain or illness comes into our body, we know what to do to build up our ujas and tend to that. So, to achieve health, one must be physically, emotionally, spiritually, occupationally, and environmentally sound. I have I had a call with my mentor last night, and she slammed me with one because I was in a scarcity mindset, and she said people people who don't have a good relationship with money are not well. And I was like, oh well, I am very sick. I'm not well. And then I remembered, like, Ayurveda says all of these things, to be sound in those so you can be well. Um, and in Ayurveda, the secret to health is in the digestive system, in your Agni. And each dosha has a different relationship with their Agni. And that's something that I work one on one with my clients. Is I work with you on building your Agni so you can digest everything that comes your way. So Agni is basically your internal fire, and it's responsible for your metabolism, your nutrients, your ability to absorb nutrients, and elimination. And the key thing to remember is that you digest so much more than food. You digest information, you digest sensory experiences, you digest the things that you hear, the things that you touch. You are constantly digesting things. So if you have a weak Agni, then it's really hard for you to digest those things. If you have a really strong Agni and you're digesting those things really, really fast, then maybe you're not absorbing them properly and absorbing the proper nutrients that your body needs to sustain its life. So in Ayurveda, we really focus on Agni. Um, it's important to remember that unprocessed food is just as harmful as undigested emotions. And anything that is undigested that lingers in the body creates ama, or toxic buildup. And toxic buildup is what leads to stagnation, and stagnation is what leads to disease, right? If you think about a tumor, or something that, or like a pimple or something on the skin, it's just an accumulation of toxic buildup. So by cleaning up your diet and your life, you build your Agni. And whenever you can build Agni, you can burn off the toxic buildup, that Ama. And whenever you do all of that, you build Ujas. And whenever you build Ujas, you are building up your life force. So, supporting the Agni. So, Ayurveda has all of these practices that we do to support your Agni, to support your ability to digest. And one of the best things is through the five sense care. So, caring for your five senses. Ayurveda calls that your dinacharya. So, in this picture, you see a dry brush. You see a lemon for warm lemon water. You see a tongue scraper for scraping the tongue. That's an amazing supplement right there called Triphala, which is really good for um, regularity. And then oil, sesame oil there, which is really good for body oil. So caring for the skin, which is one of the major detox organs in the body. So really caring for the skin, caring for the tongue, because when you sleep at night, all of the undigested food comes to settle on your tongue, and it's the best opportunity to just scrape it right off. Drinking warm lemon water really stimulates the lymphatic system, so you can keep your immunity really good, because the immunity lives in the lymphatic system, and as well as dry brushing and oil massage. Another way to support Agni is through energy management. Ayurveda teaches that the clock is not split up into 24 hours, it's split up into 4 hour segments. So it's understanding what part of the day different energies are available for you, and what pi of the clock you should be doing different tasks in to really manage your energy. Understanding the five basic elements that are in your body and their qualities, which means how they show up, and the effect that they have on you. You can support your Agni through mantra or prayer, through your mindset and your beliefs, right? Through food and herbs, and through movements and lifestyle. Ayurveda really believes that the way you do one thing is the way you do everything. So, really focusing on how you move through life can really bring you a lot of clarity. So, they're cornerstones of Ayurveda. Ayurveda says that everything is created from the Panchamabutas, which are the five natural elements: ether, air, fire, water, and earth. Ether is also called space. Ayurveda teaches that we are a microcosm of the macrocosm. So everything around us is made of the five elements, and so are we. Each element represents a different component of our physical and mental characteristics. And we are born with all of the elements, but they're arranged in a certain way that's unique to us. So space and ether is the vastness and the openness. So if you think about in your body, the places that are vast and open, that's where ether is. So like inside your ears, inside your nose, inside of your mouth, your colon, like that's where space and ether is really contained. Air is light and moving. So if you think about like the airways, that's where air is. Fire is hot and powerful. That's in your digestive system because it's hot and powerful. We need that to digest. Water is fluid and cool. So the lymphatic system. And earth is dense and grounding. So it's on our bones and the lubrication in our joints. The five elements and their qualities make up what Ayurveda calls the three doshas. And the doshas is another Sanskrit word that means energy types. So there's three energy types in Ayurveda. And those three energy types are Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. And the energies, these three energies, are used to describe everything from the food that you eat, from what your body looks like, from the characteristics of your mind, from the environment that you live in, and everything else. When relating to energy, dosha means pattern and organization. But when it's relating to how you express that energy, it means imbalance and flaw. So, for example, if you've taken the dosha quiz, if you haven't, I'll drop the link in the chat at the end so you can take it. But if you've taken it and you're like, oh yeah, I'm Vata dosha, that means that most of your imbalances are in Vata dosha, Vata energy, right? And so Vata is made of ether and air. So if you think about the qualities of ether and air, then you have a lot of those in your body and they're going to show up as symptoms. So ether, for example, ether and air is very dry. So Vatas usually tend to be dry hair, dry skin, dry nails, constipation, right? Pitta is made of fire and water. So if you think about the qualities, how fire and water really feel, then that's how Pitta could usually experience symptoms and imbalances. So, for example, fire is very, very hot. So Pittas could usually experience inflammation in the body because of all of the excess heat. Kapha is made of water and earth. So if you think about the qualities of water and earth, especially like earth is very dense. So Kaphas tend to hang on to things. So they tend to pack on weight really easily. So this is a good handout that I have in the module in the portal, and it's really good to have on hand because it tells you the doshas, it tells you the element, it tells you the qualities, and it tells you where it's located in the body and its purpose. And I think it's really important to understand where each dosha is located in the body because if you're having, let's say you went to the doctor and the doctor says you have some issue going on with your colon, then that tells me immediately that I have a Vata imbalance and I need to work on balancing Vata energy. So that usually tells me that I'm probably dry, light, cold, and rough somewhere inside of my system. So I'm going to go and tend to Vata dosha, right? So I really like referring to this and teaching my clients how to refer to this knowledge whenever they're diagnosed or they already know that they're dealing with some type of issue. So, like, for example, I have a lot of Kapha energy. So most of my issues are in my lungs and in my lymphatic system. Like my lymphatic system gets really, like if I touch my lymph nodes, they're usually pretty tender and sore, and my sinuses. So I know I struggle with that, so I know I have to balance Kapha energy. So the your unique mind body type. So everybody has a different unique mind body type. And whenever I work with my clients, I figure out their constitution. So you're more than just a dosha, right? You may identify with one because you have a primary one, but you have all of them. And they're going to shift and change from time to time. But the dosha you have today could be different than the one you had at conception. Because what Ayurveda teaches is that at the moment of conception, your dosha changes. So your soul comes in with a certain dosha. But at the moment of conception, it starts to change because it's put in somebody else's body, right? It's put in an environment that is going to change it. And then that person that is housing your soul is making decisions that may not be good for you, but she doesn't know, right? So then that's changing it. So before you came into your mother's body, you had a prakriti. That's like your essence. That's what your soul wants to be. But as soon as it was put in your mother's body, it started creating imbalances, and that's your vikriti. So we are on a path of balancing our vikriti so we can express our prakriti. So we're on a path of pulling back all of the layers of conditioning, right? And making a pathway so our soul can express itself the way that it is meant to express itself. And it takes some time. It took us a long time to get here. It took us time to understand our conditioning and our patterns. So it's going to take us some time to get back to our prakriti. But Ayurveda offers these beautiful practices that take you back home every morning, throughout every day, and every night because it's an intuitive practice. So you have to come back home constantly with the practices that Ayurveda offers you. Um, so I think it's a beautiful way of like staying in touch with the prakriti. But anyway, so like I said, you have all three doshas, but you have a primary one. And usually the primary one is the one that you're going to have to tend to the most. So for me that's kapha dosha. I have to tend to kapha dosha a lot. Like I'm very resistant to change. I don't like change, but I know I have to do it. Kaphas don't like change. I don't like getting rid of my stuff. I like my stuff. It makes me feel grounded and comfortable, but I know I have to do it for change because that's how I keep going and I keep moving. The doshas show up in all of your characteristics. So you can relate to a specific dosha in your mind and you can relate to another one in your body. So that's why the quizzes are kind of confusing sometimes because people are like, well, I can relate to something in all of the categories. Well, of course, because you have all of them. Um, and what I can say about myself is when you look at my body and you know about Ayurveda, you're like, there's no way she's Kapha because I don't carry pack on weight that easily. I have more of a Vata body, but my mind, oh my goodness, my mind is so Kapha. So, and that's one of my biggest hangups. So it's understanding that your dosha can be different in your mind and your body. Um, so it's important to know your dosha. It's important to know how your mind and your body express these doshas because it will explain your unique version of health. So here's Vata energy. Here's Vata dosha. Vata is the energy of movement. It's responsible for all movement. So it's responsible for the squirrels and the birds and everything, all the bugs that move in the environment. And it's responsible for all the movement in your body. It's responsible for my mouth moving, my hands moving, my eyes blinking, my heart beating, all the movement. It's responsible for it. Vata dosha is located in the colon, the pelvic region, so the pelvic area, the lower back, the heart, and the head. So if you are someone who struggles with anxiety and it affects your heart, if you're someone who struggles with migraines, if you have lower back pain, hip pain, things of that sort, that's just telling you that that's excess Vata energy. Vata energy controls the central nervous system. It controls circulation, elimination, breathing, your ability to communicate, creativity, emotions, all of those things. Vata individuals are the creatives of the earth. Vata's bodies are usually very long and lean, so they're dancers. They express with their bodies and their movements. But they're so creative and they're so flighty. They're so airhead like. They like to live up in the ethers, they live up in their brains a lot, that they have difficulty sticking to one idea. So they bounce from one idea to the next, to the next, to the next, and they could struggle with rooting down to that idea and actually making something of it. So that's their obstacle. That's where they struggle. Um, they experience anxiety because of that. So they have a lot. They experience anxiety, insomnia, panic, and they have digestive troubles because Agni, their Agni is invariable. It changes. Sometimes it's really strong, sometimes it's really weak, and they go back and forth. Sometimes they can digest this, sometimes they can't digest that. Um, so they go back and forth a lot. So that's where they struggle with digestive issues. They tend to be very dry, right? If you think about the qualities of Vata dosha, they tend to be very dry. So their digestive tract is dry. So you don't have to be a Vata type to be creative or have anxiety. You might just have enough Vata energy in your body at that moment to have a creative spark or to be experiencing anxiety, right? So even if you're like, well, I'm not a Vata type, you could still be creative and you could still experience anxiety. That's just Vata energy at play. Vata types are usually artists, writers, philosophers, and visionaries. Like they are big picture thinkers. Um, and a couple famous Vata people are Steve Jobs and Picasso. Pitta. Pitta energy is the energy of transformation, and it's responsible for all transformation. So if you watch the sun rise and set, that's the energy of transformation. You watch logs on the fire turn into ash, that's the energy of transformation. You watch forest fires, right? It's transforming things. It's located in the intestines, in the blood, in the liver, and the gallbladder. It controls digestion, metabolism, bile production, your body temperature, the luster of your skin, sensitivity, and your intelligence because it's housed in the gray matter of your brain. It's also responsible for hormone regulation. So, if hormone or thyroid is something that you struggle with, then you need to address Pitta dosha. Pitta individuals are leaders. They're the leaders of the world. They're very ambitious and they're very driven to a task. I like to refer to Pitta energy as like Superman. You know, you see the laser focus. They focus on one thing and they do not stop until it is done. So they risk burnout. I'm going to keep going on that. I'm going to power through until my task is complete, regardless of if I've eaten all day long. I'm going to power through. Um, the biggest struggle for Pittas is anger and heartburn. So they have anger, rage, and frustration, and they hold it all in because they're so focused and they have a lot of heartburn. Because they digest things really, really fast. Their Agni is very strong, so they burn through things fast. Like I like to joke with my Pitta people and say that they could digest a pillow because it's just that strong. But you don't have to be Pitta to experience burnout. Like, I mean, let's face it, we live in America. None of us know when to stop. So you don't have to be Pitta to experience burnout. We've all had those times where we pushed really hard and we created imbalance for ourselves. Pitta types are great managers. They're athletes because they tend to have a very athletic build in their body and they can put on muscle really, really quickly. Lawyers and financial analysts, they are really good with numbers and figuring things out really quickly. Famous Pitta people are Warren Buffett and Kobe Bryant. And Kapha energy. So Kapha energy is the energy of structure and lubrication. So it's earth and water. So it's responsible for all structure in the earth and in the environment. And if you are from Louisiana, then you will understand when I say, or if you visited Louisiana, Louisiana is Kapha energy. Like we live in the swamps. We are halfway. We are below sea level. We are the structure of the United States. Kapha energy is located in the lungs, in the stomach, in the plasma, in the lymphatic system, in the joints and the sinuses. Kapha energy is your immune system. Um, and while we're on the topic of kapha energy, no, I'm gonna say that later. Anyway, so it is the energy of your immune system. So if you struggle with a weak immune system and you get sick all of the time, you catch everything around you, we need to address kapha energy in your body. Um, Kapha energy controls lubrication of the joints, the regulation of fat, and your memory, strength and stamina, body fluids, your ability to rest and recover, and your kindness, your level of kindness. Kapha individuals are peaceful, and they're calm, so they're the caregivers and the nurturers of the world. And they usually tend to be very round and curvy in the body. Um, they, like I was saying, they don't really like change that much, and they live in the past. So they experience depression and weight gain because um, they don't like change and they like to really ground down, so they hang on to things. They need all of the things. Like whenever they pack, they're the people that travel with like 5 different bags. That's me. I've got like 8 bags, bag for everything. You don't have to be a kapha to experience depression. There are these things called the kapha blues. Like if you have seasonal affective disorder in the winter, you know what I'm talking about. Like it's a real thing. Um, Kapha types are usually therapists, teachers, caregivers. They like to work with their hands and care with people through their hands. Um, I like to care for people with my hands through cooking. That's the way I do it. So famous people are Kapha people are Oprah Winfrey, and I couldn't think of another one, but she's just like the Kapha person that comes to my mind. Um, so these are the qualities. So we're going to talk about the qualities of the dosha. So we are born with a certain amount of each element, but they change throughout your life. So they change throughout the season. They change throughout your lifespan. They change based on your diet, your stress level, and your emotional state. So your doshas are always changing. The arrangement of your dosha is always changing, but usually you will experience an imbalance in your primary one mostly. So it's usually we go back to that one. We are a combination of all 3 doshas, and our imbalances relate to the specific qualities within each. So it's important to understand the qualities and how they show up in the body, because this is what you're tuning into that needs balance. So these are the symptoms that you would experience and you would often reach to prescription drugs for. So, for example, you wake up in the morning and you are congested. You have like sinus congestion. So the first thing you're going to reach for is like, whoa, I need like some Flonase or some nasal spray or some medication to get that moving. Well, understanding the qualities of the doshas in the body, sinuses, water, earth, so that's a kapha imbalance, right? So whenever you can understand that, then you can start reaching to the tools of Ayurveda and more of a holistic practice than reaching to prescription or over-the-counter drugs to balance the symptoms. You Before you go to bed, you feel your hands and they're really, really dry. Your skin's really dry. Your hair is really dry. That is Vata, air, because air and ether. Air and ether qualities are really, really dry. So reach for some oil. Eat some foods that have more oil in them, right? Like an avocado versus potato chips, right? So that's why it's important to understand the qualities of the doshas so you can balance your symptoms. So this is another document. It's really hard to see right now, but it has all of the attributes, all of the qualities of the doshas and how they could show up in the body. So an attribute of Pitta dosha is hot. So that means strong digestion, strong appetite, body temperature, doesn't do well in the heat and humidity, goes gray, loses hair. So it tells you a bunch of the symptoms that this dosha could be experiencing and how it manifests in the body. So this is another good chart to familiarize and refer to whenever you are trying to self-diagnose your symptoms and understand yourself a little better. And that chart is also located in the module, so you can print it out or just keep it handy to refer to it. So balancing the doshas. So to balance your qualities and your symptoms, remember that opposites create balance and like increases like. So if I wake up in the morning and I'm feeling really sinusy and congested and I really can't breathe very well, I don't want to reach for foods that have a lot of earth and water in them, right? So like I don't want to go drink a glass of milk. I don't want to eat eggs, right? Things that are very earth and watery. I want to eat things that are the opposite. I want to eat things that are going to dry me out, right? So I'm going to go and reach for pomegranates. Like pomegranates are very dry. They will dry. Cranberries, citrus fruits. Those things are really drying. Now they're still wet, of course, if you think about it, but the qualities of it is dry and astringent to the taste. Honey is sweet, but honey is astringent. So you want to reach for those astringent foods because they're dry. They're opposite of what I'm feeling in my body. And so if you wake up feeling really dry, like you have a dry, crusty, bloody nose, then you want to reach for eggs or milk or something that, or an avocado, something that's a little more watery and earthy. So opposites create balance. Another thing, if you wake up feeling really frazzled in the brain, you have a lot going on and you feel anxious, you feel panicky, then do a slow movement practice. You can do like slow down your breathing, like full inhales and slow exhales, holding your exhales, right? So doing the opposite to create balance with how you feel. So the first step to do that is to understand the qualities within your body. And if you don't have a practice that brings you back into your body, then how can you understand the qualities within your body? How can you truly tune in and understand how you feel inside of your body if you're not really questioning? If you're not really turning into, what is it that I'm feeling right now? What are these symptoms trying to tell me? So after you understand the qualities within your body, then you focus on the qualities of the foods you regularly consume. So whenever I start feeling really, I love eggs, but whenever I start feeling really sinusy and congested, I stop eating them. And usually within a few days, my symptoms go away. So focus on the foods you regularly consume. If you're usually pretty dry in your skin, consider not eating so much raw, cold foods. Like if you're a smoothie drinker, cut your smoothies out for a little while and see how that changes. If you usually run pretty hot and you stay flushed a lot of the time, consider how many hot, spicy foods you're eating, right? If you're like a Mexican margarita goer twice a week, maybe cut that out a little bit, and see if you can decrease some of the indigestion in your body or the heat. Remember that your diet and lifestyle plays a huge role in the qualities within your food. Like, guys, I cannot stress enough that you are what you eat. Like you really are. Like it changes you completely. Like I will never forget as a kid that commercial, you are what you eat, and then in the subway station you see the woman's behind and the two cinnamon rolls. And she's walking, the cinnamon rolls are going up and down. Like I will never forget that. That's probably when my Ayurveda path started that day. Like you are what you eat. Like it's truth. So eat foods that your body knows what to do with, because it's information. So give your body information that your cells are like, oh hey, an orange, I know what to do with this. It doesn't really know what to do with the processed food, so it stores it in the body wherever it thinks it needs to go. You can offset your natural imbalances by using your diet, because your diet is your prescription. What you eat can either heal you or harm you. So I invite you to look at the food's qualities instead of the calories. So instead of counting your calories or instead of weighing your food, macros, micros, whatever that is, look at the qualities. Like, will the qualities that I'm eating make me feel the way I want to feel? Or will they feed the imbalance that I'm already experiencing in my body? And give yourself the option to choose not to have certain foods because of the way they make you feel, right? I have a client who consistently wants to drink smoothies all the time, and she can't even get through like half of her smoothie before she gets the hiccups. And I'm like, what is that telling you? Like the hiccups, it's the air. Like, come on. Like your body's trying to tell you like, no more, I don't want them. She figured it out. So choose to give your body the foods based on the way that they make you feel. And again, if you don't have a practice that brings you back into your body to become familiar with it and to build a relationship with it, then how will you know how these foods are making you feel? If you're someone who eats all of your meals while you're answering emails, while you're watching TV, how will you know if your body is full or not? How will you know if your body is feeling good while you're eating if you're not in relationship with your food and your body? So if you need help building a relationship with your food and your body, I'm here for you. That's what I've done for myself for 15 years. That's what I've been doing for clients for 4 years. Like, I got you. I can help you out. So, here's another really good chart that is very good to have. It's also in the portal, but it's balancing your qualities. So, if you are someone who is Vata and Kapha, understanding that Vata and Kaphas are cold by nature, so they need warming foods, right? So, this teaches you the balances. Pittas are hot by nature, so they need cooling foods. Vatas are dry, so they need more oily foods. So it's understanding that opposites create balance. And if you forget, then have this chart with you and refer to it and help yourself out. So the least you know, the least you can do is become familiar with the 5 elements in your body and be mindful of how they change throughout the day and throughout the seasons. So, okay, so I'll say that now. So we have 4 seasons, or some of us do. In Louisiana, we're like, "What's a season?" I don't even know. But anyway, so we have yeah, we have 4 seasons, and the seasons are correlated with a dosha. So right now, no matter where you are, no matter what it feels like in your environment, we are going into Kapha dosha. So even if you do not relate with Kapha dosha, you are experiencing an influx of water and earth inside of your body. So this is when the seasonal allergies come. This is when the sinus issues come, right? This is a transitional time where our bodies are like, wait, what? Give me a second. I gotta change. So I am I'm having a Kapha masterclass, which is going to tell you all about Kapha dosha, how Kapha dosha shows up in the body, and how you can balance Kapha dosha. I teach you different practices, lifestyle practices, herbal remedies, things that you should be eating to support Kapha dosha. I teach you breathing practices. I give you a movement practice, and I give you a recipe. And I'll put the link in the chats, but you get 50% off if you sign up before tomorrow on the Kapha Masterclass. And so I think it's important that we understand how to support ourselves seasonally, even if you don't relate with that dosha. It's so because our practices and our life and our diet should change to support ourselves seasonally. So that's an offer as well. Eat to feel good. Don't eat because you're counting macros, counting calories. Eat to feel good in your body. Be present with your food and notice how certain foods make you feel after you have eaten them. So I encourage you to have a mindful practice when you eat. Check in with your body before you eat. Be present with your body and your food as you're eating, and then check in after you eat. I guarantee you won't eat as much. And then question yourself, what qualities did that food have in it that could be causing imbalance in my internal qualities, right? But if you're not present with your food and you're not in relationship with your body, this could be really difficult. So be present with your food, be present with your body, and then question, like, whoa, what qualities did I just put into my body that could be causing me to have these sour burps, right? Or this gas. So here are some practices that you can try on that are the first steps to an Ayurveda lifestyle. So rise before 6 o'clock. It's so important to be in rhythm with the day. So to wake up before the sun starts to wake up and watch the sun rise, or just watch the colors change on your wall if you're in your house doing something. Connect with your own energy and that thing that's bigger than you. So connect with your own energy and connect with God, because that's the first place to start, is how do I feel in my body right now? What do I need today to make me feel more present and balanced? Tongue scrape. If you don't have a tongue scraper, I suggest you get one and you use it first thing in the morning, because it's the best way to get all of the ama, all of the toxic buildup that has bubbled up from your intestines and sitting on your tongue. Dry brush. Invest in a dry brush. I have videos on my YouTube channel on how to tongue scrape and how to dry brush. Um, Abhyanga, which is oil massage, applying oil to your body. Um, Remember we talked about supporting the Agni through detoxing the five senses. Like those are three practices you can start doing now that are so easy and so beneficial. Drink room temperature water or warm lemon water before coffee and before your tea and before your food. Because what that does is that starts to kindle your Agni, to kindle your digestive fire. Because whenever you go to bed, you're not digesting any food, so it kind of starts to smolder like a campfire. So whenever you wake up in the morning on that campfire, you want to stoke the fire a little bit, maybe put some pine needles or some pine cones, and then another log, right? So you want to drink warm lemon water or just warm water before you eat or drink your coffee. If you drink your coffee before the warm lemon water, that's like going up to the fire and just squirting lighter fluid, because then it's like woof. Um, and let your lunch be your biggest meal. Explore with that, letting your lunch be your biggest meal. You can eat the same thing for dinner, just let your lunch be a bigger portion. And then go to bed before 10 o'clock. Because at 10 o'clock, in the Ayurveda clock, is when Pitta time kicks back up. So that's when you're going to catch your second wind. So be in bed before 10 o'clock so your body can be ready to rest. Um, so I'm going to stop the share and stop the recording.